Why wait to see if you'll get something you like this Valentine's Day when you can go to BlueNile.com and find something you'll love? Whether you're looking to treat yourself to a little winter sparkle or show a galentine how much you appreciate them, Blue Nile offers a wide selection of high-quality designs, expert guidance, and free 30-day returns for the ultimate peace of mind. You can even design your own jewelry. Right now, save up to 50% at BlueNile.com. That's BlueNile.com.
Introducing Royal Caribbean's newest ship, Icon of the Seas, the ultimate family vacation. The ultimate 6 slides, 8 neighborhoods, 0 compromise vacation. The ultimate never done that, can't wait to do it vacation. The ultimate chillin' by a different pool every day of the week vacation. This is the Icon of vacations. Icon of the Seas, arriving in 2024. Book today. Come seek the Royal Caribbean. Ships Registry, Bahamas.
Hello again, hockey fans. Are you ready to once again brave the wild with me, your buddy Paladino Joey? It is Monday, July 4th, 2011. So happy July 4th to everybody. Happy belated July 4th. I hope you had a good July 4th weekend and everything. This is episode number 49 of Brave the Wild. It is a special edition because of the Dany Heatley acquisition. And I'd like to have a slightly more... Well, I didn't talk about the other 3 guys in the draft that we took. So I think it'd be a little more appropriate that I go beyond the first and second round for the Minnesota Wild in the draft, like I did in the previous show with Neil Nate Dogg Thiesing. So just thought I'd get to that a little bit, but mostly here for Dany Heatley. Special edition, extra, hear all about it. Dany Heatley has been acquired from the San Jose Sharks to the Minnesota Wild for Martin Havlet. So my most valuable player for the 2010-2011 season is gone for most likely the most valuable player for the 2011-2012 season. And I kid you not on that. But first and foremost, Brave the Wild is available on the sportstuff.com and on iTunes. I thank each and every one of you always for downloading and listening to this show. It means a great deal to me. Please join the message boards on the sportstuff.com. Go to the sportstuff.com/boards or click on TSS boards on the front page of the website. It is the upper right-hand corner. Simply click on that and then click register and away you go there. So, well, we're just going to get right into the nitty-gritty here for the Minnesota Wild draft. Well, of course, the Wild took Jonas Brodin with the 10th overall pick. Then, of course, they traded Brent Burns and acquired the 28th pick from the Sharks. Yeah, who else? The Sharks. And acquired Zach Phillips. Very exciting numbers. Maybe a small possibility of coming to the Wild as soon as this year. Who knows what will happen? And then, of course, the second-round pick, which was would have been the 40th overall, to the Boston Bruins for Chuck Kovacic. Yeah, definitely not one of the great success stories for the run of Chuck Fletcher the last 2 years. But man, this guy, this son of a gun, Chuck Fletcher, is one aggressive SOB. Yes, he is. Because of the 60th pick, the Wild acquired Mario Lucia. We also talked about him in the episode number 48, the draft and all that stuff, draft and trades, all that good stuff. Episode 48 with Neil Nate Dogg Thiesing just a couple days ago. In fact, that was Friday/Saturday. So, yeah, but we hadn't acquired Dany Heatley yet, and I got to get on the air and do it. I mean, Brave the Wild, folks, is going to get a lot more attention than it had in the past. It's basically Brave the Wild right now is the only show right now that I really can do. The NFL is in a lockout, and the NBA is in a lockout. Yet the Minnesota Wild are doing everything in their power to get better. I mean, this is the most aggressive the Minnesota Wild have been in their history. I mean, I am really, really excited to do this show. I am really, really excited to talk about this team, and I am even more excited to watch this team coming in the fall of 2011. I mean, or 2011, whatever you want to call it, 2011. This is really exciting. I mean, how can you not be excited? Dany Heatley is coming to the Wild. I just cannot believe it. And before I continue to jump ahead, I am going to continue with the draft real quick. Just talk briefly about these guys. I know enough about the first three, Jonas Brodin, Zach Phillips, and Mario Lucia, and I talked about them in the previous episode. But, I'm just going to at least name the names and all that stuff. Why not? The third round pick and the fourth round pick, 71st and 101st overall, respectively, were traded to the Vancouver Canucks in exchange for Mario Lucia, a very exciting acquisition for a lot of people around here. I mean, this son of a gun, Mario Lucia, has a chance to be amazing. I mean, he's a wonderful player. The Wild definitely have a real player in him. Zach Phillips, very exciting. Jonas Brodin. I mean, this was a good draft. There's no doubt about it. In the fifth round, 131st overall, another Minnesota player was taken. Defenseman Nick Seeler from Eden Prairie High. Very exciting. And also, of course, his hometown is Eden Prairie. Surprise, 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 right? But, hey, very cool. Another Minnesota guy. I mean, Chuck Fletcher likes to bring in the homegrown talent, doesn't he? Literally homegrown talent. And then the Wild took another goalie. So the second year in a row, the Wild took a goalie. Of course, a lot later in the draft this time. Stephen Mahalik from Hartford, Connecticut. Stephen Mahalik from Hartford, Connecticut, home of the Hartford Whalers, another wonderful team that moved away. Totally sucks, and moved south. I mean, all the cool teams moved south, didn't they? The Winnipeg Jets moved south to Phoenix. The Minnesota North Stars moved to Dallas. The Hartford Whalers moved to Carolina. I mean, Carolina, North Carolina in hockey, that's kind of weird. Yeah, the Quebec Nordiques moved to Colorado. Not quite as southy as the others, but still a lot further south than Quebec. It was a crazy thing, so it was nice to see at least a couple Canadian, or at least one Canadian city to get a team back. So far, Winnipeg is Quebec to follow. Who knows? Though, of course, Calgary actually stole the Atlanta Flames away from Hotlanta. So, yeah, as I continue to digress all over the place, I apologize. I'm just excited. I'm a little hyper. I mean, Dany Heatley's coming to Minnesota. That's pretty darn crazy. With the final pick in the Minnesota Wild draft this year, 7th round, 191st overall. I mean, how many ones are at the end of the draft here for the Wild? Pretty weird. Tyler Rauvek from Ottawa. And Brampton, Ontario is his hometown, but his 2010-2011 team was Ottawa in the OHL. Hey, he's a defensive center. That's basically what he is. You just look at numbers and it's obvious. He's a defensive guy. Who knows? Obviously, 7th round pick. Don't expect him to knock anybody's socks off. But then again, you never know. I mean, Randy Brunette was taken uber late, and he had a solid career. This guy's numbers about 21 points, 60 games. Not the kind of numbers that make you get real excited. Stephen Michalik's numbers were not all that exciting either. Hartford, Connecticut native, averaging about 4 goals a game, 4 goals against a game. Not the most exciting numbers there. Nick Seeler had no statistics, unfortunately, available to us. Zach Phillips scores about as many goals as he gets assists, and he's fantastic. That's, of course, the other first-round pick. And Mario Lucia, very prolific in high school in Wayzata, and most likely headed off to juniors next year as he goes into his senior year in high school. That'll be very interesting. We'll see how that turns out. So with that, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to jump right in to Dany Heatley. We are back here on Brave the Wild, episode number 49, which is a reminder for iPod users along with other MP3 players like the Microsoft Zune and such and so forth. So here we go. Brave the Wild, back on the air again. Do call into our phone lines, 209-736-7877, 209-736-7877. It is a voicemail. Do treat it as such. Mention you're calling in for Brave the Wild, and your message will be, of course, recorded, and we would love to hear you on air with me. It would be very terrific. Talk about the Wild, talk about Dany Heatley, talk about Chuck Fletcher, talk about Mike Yeo, talk about Darby Hendrickson, talk about Daryl Sador, whatever. Man, Daryl Sador, I mean, a veteran. Yeah, I'm just talking about him for 3 seconds here just to tease you some more about Dany Heatley. Yeah, Daryl Sador, just an all-star defenseman. I mean, bringing in a guy with that much pedigree into the organization is very cool. I just had to throw that in there. All right, let's get to this topic at hand. Dany Heatley. That's right, Dany Heatley is a member of the Minnesota Wild. And no, I'm not kidding, and nor was anybody else. I thought somebody was kidding somewhere. I really did. I'm just amazed that this finally happened. It really did. I mean, there were always these rumors about Dany Heatley coming to the Wild. Maybe we'll go after him this summer. Oh, but he wound up with Ottawa. Damn. You know, I thought we were going to get him from Atlanta. God dang it, man. And then, okay, now he's going to leave Ottawa Senators. Yep, okay, here we go. Wild are in the chase for Dany Heatley. Maybe they're one of 3 teams that he might go to. Nope, he's been traded to San Jose. Golly. So it's just like, why do the Sharks need him? They already have Joe Thornton and they have Patrick Marleau and 9,000 other guys. You know, it's just, come on, man. Why do the Sharks need Dany Heatley? And then here he is. He's finally a member of the Minnesota Wild. A chance to be a star, a lone star, basically, in terms of being the prolific goal scorer, but also joins his best buddy on the San Jose Sharks. That's right, Devin Setaguchi is one of the best friends of Dany Heatley. In fact, he was the best friend of Dany Heatley on the San Jose Sharks. Heatley very excited to come to Minnesota. And he kept calling us Minnie. He kept calling, I'm really excited to come to Minnie. I'm really looking forward to come to Minnie. Can't wait to be in Minnie come September. And the best news is, once again, Brave the Wild and the Minnesota Wild and the National Hockey League will be fully in operation come September. Yeah, that's right. There will be no lockout. We're going to actually get to watch Dany Heatley play next year. We're going to actually get to see how Devin Setaguchi possibly regains that 30-goal ability. This is a perfect marriage, folks, and actually it's a good trade for the San Jose Sharks in a way too. You look at the way the dynamics of the trade are. I mean, heck, it's a straight-up deal. You think Martin Havlet for Dany Heatley, you want to ask the Sharks this.
It's just, like, what were they thinking?
But then you look at their roster, and you're like, oh, okay, I kind of get it now. Yeah, you're giving away the better player. Yes, the Minnesota Wild got the better hockey player in this trade. But at times, teams need to make trades that improve the team in terms of the proper fit. Martin Havlet is a setup man, more so than a goal scorer. He's a 22 to 25, maybe 28, and once a year, maybe once in his career, 30-goal guy who's going to get 40 or 50 assists. The San Jose Sharks have Joe Thornton. And, you know, they have Patrick Marleau, and they have other scorers. Yeah. Pavlicek as well. I mean, guys like that that are so valuable on the San Jose Sharks. They score goals, and the Sharks were more focused on, hey, let's get a guy who can set up these players, who is really good as well, who is a good enough of a threat that he'll actually be a piece here, and he doesn't even have to necessarily be a center. He can be a forward, which is what Martin Havlet is. He's a setup man. The Wild had way the flip too many setup men on this organization. You have Mika Koivu, who is going to score 20 to 25 goals but get about 40 or 50 assists. You have Martin Havlet, same thing. You have Pierre-Marc Bouchard, who's going to get 15 to 20 goals and get about 40 or 50 assists. You know, it's just nonstop setup men in Minnesota and nonstop goal scorers in San Jose. So again, perfect marriage. You flip the guys around. You flip away Dany Heatley to Minnesota, Martin Havlet over to San Jose. In both cases, both players not necessarily with the most, you know, they're not necessarily the friendliest guys in the history of the world in terms of their past, the organization. You know, all accounts are Martin Havlet was pretty much just a big baby, constantly complaining about something, complained about his role, complained about this, complained about that, just annoyed the bleep out of people. Dany Heatley, you know, not always, I guess, the best fit in San Jose. And now that checkered past as well, unfortunately. I'm certainly very, very excited to come to Mini, as he continues to call it. And, hey, you know what, Danny? Just in case you're listening to Brave the Wild, being we are the only alternative media podcast out there, so you don't necessarily have to listen to the more biased podcast by the Minnesota Wild. This is the only independent Minnesota Wild podcast in existence. Forgive me for not being able to talk. But if you just happen to be listening, Danny, Mini is very happy to have you here. And welcome to Mini Dany Heatley. We love you. I'm so excited about this move. It's fantastic. And again, the youth movement is not altered at all here in any way, because Dany Heatley and Martin Havlet are exactly the same age. Yes, they are. So nothing's changed in any way. There will be no stunting the growth of anybody on this team. We didn't give up a single prospect. We just gave up Martin Havlet. And if it's for Dany Heatley, well, Martin, thanks for the 2 years, but don't let the door hit you where the good Lord splits you, because Dany Heatley's better than you. And he's certainly a better fit for the Minnesota Wild. Again, no offense to Martin Havlet. Then again, that may sound like I was being offensive to him a little bit. But sorry, I'd rather have Dany Heatley on this team. And I think just about anybody else that cheers for the green, red, and gold is pretty excited about this move. And you damn well better be out there, ladies and gentlemen. You damn well better be. I mean, Dany is certainly motivated here to come to Minnesota. He certainly is. He wants a chance to prove his naysayers wrong. I mean, he was a 50-goal scorer back-to-back years in Ottawa. The guy scored over 100 points back-to-back seasons with the Ottawa Senators. I mean, the guy is the real freaking deal. Dany Heatley is better than Marian Gaborik, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my God!
Yes, he is. Dany Heatley is better than Marian Gaborik. In fact, he was actually taken one pick ahead of Marian in the 2000 draft. He was number 2 overall, was honestly supposed to go number 1. Everybody thought he was going to go number 1 until the New York Islanders got way too creative, way too stupid, and took Rick DiPietro number 1 overall. A good goalie, but certainly not as talented as Dany Heatley. No, Dany Heatley was looked on as the top player in that draft and was taken second by the Atlanta Thrashers, who unfortunately have floundered forever and ever. That's the unfortunate part. Not only does he want to prove people wrong, though, about, hey, you know, I'm not just a 20-something goal guy, I'm more of a 40-50 guy. Not only that, but, of course, the playoffs, the postseason. Not multiple players in the San Jose Sharks have a great regular season. They have Minnesota Twins syndrome. Great regular season and an awful postseason. They just fall asleep. Devin Setaguchi and Dany Heatley looking to prove people, naysayers, wrong there. It's kind of like the Minnesota Sharks and the San Jose Wild right now in terms of how we're making all these trades of Brent Burns, Martin Havlet for Heatley and Setaguchi. It's kind of funny when you look at it, but good news is we got some prospects as well. Zach Phillips and Charlie Coyle on their way to Minnesota, hopefully sooner rather than later. That's going to be exciting. Man, yeah, if you can't tell, I'm a little pumped up about this move. Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit. I mean, this is some pretty cool stuff. So as we look further here, we're getting into some quotes. Dany Heatley wants to remember to be that, you know, that last year was just a fluke, subpar season. He says, as a goal scorer and a player, you want to be that guy in terms of becoming the go-to guy. That's what Dany Heatley wants to be. He kept saying that in his little conference call. You want to say a press conference, but it was a conference call. That's available on wild.com if you want to listen to it. I wanted to get some quotes from it. I could have, but I just didn't. I wanted to get the show up before rather than have to play around with that all night. And I'm not necessarily sure if it's the most legal thing I could do, but I'm sure it would have been okay. But I just, I wanted to get the show up sooner rather than later. Heatley continues saying that last year wasn't the greatest year for me personally, but I'm looking forward to getting back there, as in getting back to the top here, which is Heatley was one of the top scorers in this league, and he's only 30. It's not like he's, 37. He's 30. So we got some years left on Dany. In fact, 3 years left on his contract as well. It's just finally a true goal scorer coming to Minnesota again. The best since Gaborik and potentially in all The guy is a better goal scorer than Gaborik. Marian Gaborik will never have a 100-point season in the NHL. Heatley's had at least 2, and maybe, God forbid, this guy could really blow up because of the guys like Koivu and guys like Bouchard and others that continue to be more of a puck-passing type players. A little frustrating, though, at the defenseman position right now. There ain't a soul. Well, actually, there is Marek Zidlicki. Got wrong there. Marek Zidlicki does get assists, and he does score goals as well. Zidlicki's value, I think, goes higher with this move. Absolutely. The Wild actually now go from one guy who was like a straight-up goal scorer in Guillaume Latendresse, who's also only 24, just like Setaguchi. But yeah, an injured Guillaume Latendresse last year. That's it. 6 games from Guillaume Latendresse. That's a problem. It's a bunch of guys that just want to pass the puck rather than try to put the puck on goal, like a shot on goal, which is what Heatley does best. You had Koivu and Havlet and Bouchard and others like that. They just wanted Ambrosiak, who I really like, but still, he's more of a setup guy. Clutterbuck was the only goal scorer on this roster last year. Cullen, of course, is also a setup guy more than not. Nystrom's just a grinder. But yeah, now you go from a guy that only got to play 6 games because he had to have multiple surgeries, hip and abdomen and such, to 3, provided Latendresse is healthy. Latendresse, Heatley, and Setaguchi are all healthy. Heatley, of course, played with a broken hand last year as well. Later in the year, that's crazy, just crazy. Heatley, Latendresse, and Setaguchi. You have 3 goal scorers, and you still have all these setup men, minus Martin Havlet. But you still have all the other setup men. Well, you just hope and pray that guys like Jared Spurgeon and Marco Scandella can help provide, can help fill the void left by Brent Burns' departure. You really hope so. Good thing the Wild took a defenseman in the first round, but unfortunately it's going to take probably 3 to 4 years for him to come, and being 169 pounds, it's going to take a lot of those whey protein shakes, too, to get him in the National Hockey League sooner than later. He's going to have that pumping into his blood via IV, I think, via the IV. Mr. Jonas Brodin over in Sweden. Not Finland, Sweden. That's a small correction I'd like to make. I don't know why I'm getting those mixed up. Me and Neil Nate Dog Thiessen got that mixed up on the last show. That was a little silly and a little frustrating, but we'll get over it. We'll try. Yes, we will. This is, man, it's a fantastic move for the Wild. Chuck Fletcher, you could just see the look on his face on draft night when he was walking up to that podium to make the draft pick. He just has this look of determination. I've never seen it, man. You never saw it in Doug Risebrough. Chuck Fletcher, you didn't see it like this. The guy looks like he's just like, I'm ready to make this team. I'm ready to show what I can do. I'm going to show these SOBs what I can do. This team, we're done screwing around here. I'm sure he feels the pressure from Craig Leopold, who's a very avid fan of hockey and, of course, of his club, the Minnesota Wild. Very aggressive. Very aggressive owner, very aggressive general manager. A heck of a lot better than what we had in the past, where it got a little stagnant around here. It really did. I love Robert Nagley Jr. He's a good Christian man, a really, really good Christian man, a really generous man. But for whatever reason with the Wild, just a really classy man as well. But it, unfortunately, just a little stagnant as the owner of the Wild for some reason. I don't know, maybe a little bit too stay the coursey, I guess we'll say. I don't really want to say anything bad about him. He's a wonderful person. Doug Risebrough, I don't have quite as many nice things to say about him. By all accounts, difficult to work with, arrogant, and very stubborn. A lot like Kurt Rambis of the Minnesota Timberwolves, And then you have Jacques Lemaire, also a little bit. He's a great coach, though, a lot more pedigree than Doug Risebrough, who's screwed up the Calgary Flames, and by all accounts, like trading away Doug Gilmour, that got him fired. Some GMs, they get fired for a reason. You don't just pick up the guy who gets fired thinking, it'll work out here in Minnesota. Maybe not in Calgary, but it'll work here. Well, maybe not. Lemaire was a wonderful coach, but better in the 90s than in the 2000s, unfortunately. At least in the early 2000s before the The lockout changed everything, basically, and teams made adjustments to Jacques' system, unfortunately. I mean, his system was so good, the NHL had to adjust to it, and it got pretty stagnant after 2002, 2003, unfortunately. And we were pretty much we was pretty much spinning tires for about 5 or 6 years there. So, man, oh man, this team has a chance to be pretty good right away, I think. I think the playoffs are very realistic for this team. I really do. If Heatley can come back, and if Heatley and Setaguchi can step up and play as good as they're capable of playing, who knows? And guys stay healthy. Now, of course, people do get hurt. You just hope that it's less often than, than it does happen. I mean, you just hope it's more often than not that they are healthy, is what I'm trying to say. And that this really is a perfect marriage with coach, players, and just the players themselves, each other, with each other. The Heatleys working with the Koivus, the Setaguchis, Bouchard, so on and so forth. Matt Cullen and all of them. It's going to be very exciting. There's no doubt about that this season is going to be very exciting. Possibly the most exciting since 2003. Who knows? Or at least since we had Dimitra and Gaborik. Early on that year, things looked fantastic. The team played good all year, but Gaborik and Dimitra just never healthy. You never had both of them on the ice at the same time. Dimitra did not know, really. Dimitra refused to play under Jacques' system. It was a mess, unfortunately. It really was. So with that, I guess that's about it, really. Just this is a huge upgrade for the Minnesota Wild. There's no doubt about it. Again, it's not because Martin Havlet was bad. It's just not the right fit for this organization. Though it was a great signing to sign Martin Havlet 2 years ago, and when it was the man that was available to the Wild, and Chuck Fletcher at the time, the newly hired Chuck Fletcher at the time, during that very exciting offseason. Yeah, we lose Gaborik, but you have the cap space to add a big piece. Hey, I'm thrilled that they added Martin Havlet, because without him, we wouldn't have been able to get Dany Heatley. So you sign him very least, to be an asset. You hope maybe he's the right guy on the team at the time, but if not, at very least he was an asset, and ultimately it got the guy we wanted all along. The guy I wanted on this team all along. I'm not saying even that Heatley's my favorite player in the league, but he's pretty high up there. I mean, that's the guy I've wanted Dany Heatley on this team since 2000, and he's finally here, and he's still got probably 7 to 8 years left of hockey, I think. This is going to be fun. I mean, Andrew Burnett's 38, Heatley's 30. Do the math. I think that Heatley's going to last quite a while in this league. A lot of these players do hang around, and I wouldn't be surprised if Heatley did. He's chasing that cup. He wants it, and I hope it's here in Minnesota. St. Paul, Minnesota, officially for the Wild. Though, of course, myself being a Golden Valley native, not quite a St. Paul native, but whatever. Would have been cool to have Nate Dogg Thiesing in, but I can't expect to have him in studio 2 days after he spent, an hour recording with me the other day, an hour recording and all that good stuff, about an hour-long show. Do check it out if you haven't heard episode 48. It's worth a listen. If you have iTunes and, it already downloaded over it, you can always click on the Show All podcast and click Get, next to the previous show, episode 48. Do check out both of these. Thank you for listening. So now we're going to get to the contact details. Brave the Wild, again, available on thesportstuff.com and on iTunes, of course. Don't forget about those message boards that I mentioned earlier. Thesportstuff.com/boards, and, of course, the button in the upper right-hand corner on the front page of the website that says TSS Boards. Simply click on that, then click register, get your screen name, and talk hockey with fans out there. There's some cool people on thesportstuff.com. We appreciate it very, very much if you do join. Don't forget about the phone lines, 209-736-7877, 209-736-7877. Again, it's a voicemail. Do treat it as such. Mention you're calling it for Brave the Wild, and opine. Whatever it is. Whatever it is. Talk about the weather. Talk about Dany Heatley. Talk about anything. Talk about the sunburn you got last night, or over the July 4th weekend. Yesterday. Last night. That's cute. That'd be one heck of a sunburn, huh? A moonburn. That would be bad. Boy, oh boy, would that be bad. If you could even get burned by the moonlight. Well, thank God for hockey. Thank God for the National Hockey League. And thank God for Dany Heatley coming to the Wild. This is going to be fun. Oh, this is going to be so fun. God, I hope this works out. I hope it does. Also, there's a Facebook group for Brave the Wild. I'd like you to join on there, and please post on that page. That page needs a little bit of loving, folks. It needs some loving. It needs some tender loving care from those of you out there. Facebook. Go to Facebook, of course. Type in the search bar, Brave the Wild, Minnesota Wild. And then join the group. And please post on there. Talk about anything and everything involving the Wild or the National Hockey League. The National Hockey League. Be great to have you on there. So, thanks again for joining. It has been a blast doing this show. I mean, I just got behind the mic and just went tonight, and I enjoyed every second of it. Take care, everybody, and enjoy. Who knows what's going to happen? Maybe there'll be another special edition coming up. But until then, we shall bid adieu.